Hey now, today I am going to be engaging in a little experiment. I want to make a strawberry chocolate sourdough. I'm going to make two different versions of this, both of which are going to be using dried strawberries that I found at a bulk store, and I was very excited about those. And I'm going to do one version with white chocolate and the other just with semi-sweet milk chocolate chips. So both of these are going to be using 500 grams of just white baker's flour. And I'm going with 75% hydration of filtered water. So my first step here is just getting the autolyse going. So for both of these, I'm going to mix them up for a few minutes until everything's really well combined. And they're going to sit for an hour and a half to 2 hours, just until the leaven that I've already got prepared this morning is nicely risen and ready to go. And when we come back though, it'll be probably about half an hour prior to wanting to mix the leaven in, and we're going to play with the strawberries. So I'll mix this up, and when we come back, it's strawberry time. Okay, so I'm going to now begin the process of rehydrating these strawberries just a little bit. I like the idea of using the dried strawberries because I think they'll hold up a little bit in the actual bread, hold up a little bit better than if they were fresh strawberries. They might just moosh a little bit more. So what I've got here, this is going to be a 30% addition of dried strawberries. And I'm going with 30% filtered water, and to that I added just a teaspoon, or it was 5 grams, 5 mils of vanilla extract, just to give it a little touch of flavor. So I'm just going to pour these in here, stir them up just a touch. You can smell that vanilla, it's beautiful. And let these absorb a little bit of the water, and what that's going to do is prevent them from trying to suck a bunch of moisture out of the bread. Now I could have just increased the hydration of my dough initially, but then it might have resulted in a slightly uneven sucking of moisture out just around where these strawberries are. So I'm going to let these go for 30 minutes, during which time I slightly changed my plan for how I'm going to set all this up. I'm going to add the leaven and mix it into the dough here right now. So during the half hour while this is initially rising, that'll be the 30 minutes that I'm going to give those strawberries to rehydrate. So for the leaven here, you can see this leaven is beautiful, jiggly, super ready to go. If you want to see my video on how I like to make my leaven, you can check that out. I'm going to use 25% leaven in this. So for these, it's going to be 125 grams. And this is always the funnest part to try to do live, messing around with this stuff here. So I'm going to get this in, 108, a little bit more here. It's very uncooperative. 126 grams, that's fantastic. So then what I'm going to do is just moisten my hands with some more filtered water, and I will spread it out and mix it in here. It takes a few minutes to get this all mixed in. So I'll do this, and then I will add the leaven to the second batch of dough, let it go 30 minutes, and then we are coming back to add the salt and those strawberries. So here you have it after about 3 to 4 minutes, each of these mixing. This really did remind me why I prefer to add ingredients like this during the lamination, just because putting it in, especially because they were wet, they sort of wanted to like slide off and like underneath the dough there for the first bit. The dough did get reasonably wet on the exterior as I first started to mix, but within about a minute or so, like I was like, oh no, is this going to be a problem? But within a minute or so, it really did start to absorb that extra moisture. And by the end of this time, like, it is really nicely incorporated. So if you are trying this at home, don't get frustrated right away. Just keep at it, mixing as you normally do, and everything will be okay. Trust me on that. Now, yeah, you could totally do this with any kind of dried fruit as well, I think. There are a lot of dried fruit combinations with chocolate and nuts and all kinds of stuff that would be super fun to do, and I plan on trying as many as I can. So one last thing is I do have this now kind of newly created strawberry water, and that was made with filtered water, so I will be using that to moisten my hands when manipulating the dough here for the next several steps. But as for now, I'm going to let this go 30 minutes, and then we'll be back for the stretch and fold. All right. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and do my first stretch, well, actually probably my only stretch and fold. So I'm just going to moisten my hands with this strawberry water here, and I'm just going to pull up on this, nice and high, and probably just 4 stretches, folding it over on top of itself. My 5-year-old daughter is running the camera right now, which is very impressive because she woke up from her nap and she's giving me a hand so you can actually see this. I guess we'll find out the quality of the cinematography here once we're done. So I'm just doing this with these, and I'm going to give it another half hour, and then it'll be time for the lamination, and at that point we will add the chocolate.
Chocolate!
Yeah! Okay, so I've got my 5-year-old cinematographer here back. Now is the time for the lamination. So I'm just using some filtered water to spray down my counter, and I'm going to pop out the sourdough here. And as if you've seen like my video, my just like straight up sourdough video, I occasionally do the lamination process. I really like doing it in situations like this where I'm adding ingredients to the sourdough, especially if they're like big solids like these chocolate chips. And the whole trick is just to very gently stretch it out from underneath. I'm trying to make a large rectangle, which is exactly what I'm doing now. And once it's out, then you're able to add your ingredients. So I'm going to show you on the first one, and I'll probably go with the white chocolate chips on this first one that I do. And after I have this one all done, then I'm just going to repeat the exact same process with the milk chocolate chips. It's tempted to kind of tear there a little bit. I don't want to tear it. Okay, perfect. So I've got that all set up just like this, trying to get it nice and thin. This is really good at helping develop layers in your sourdough as well as incorporating extra ingredients. So, first step here, and I'm going to do this a little bit backwards from how I normally do, just based on where I'm physically stationed right now. And I'm going to fold this way. So we're folding it into a third this way, and then kind of giving a little love tap just to get rid of any air pockets that might have been created there. I'm going to sprinkle in some more of these. And we're going with 20% chocolate chips. I should mention that. 20% chocolate chips per bread. Do that. And now we're going to do a little fold this way. And a little fold this way. Just kind of spread these out. So you can say this is a pretty sweet way just to incorporate those chips into the dough, spreading them out. And that was really nice and easy. So I'm just going to pop this back into the bowl, cover it up. I'll do the other one here. I'll give them a half hour, and then it's time for some coil folds. All right, so 30 minutes after that lamination, it's time to just go ahead and coil fold. I find when I'm doing these sourdoughs that are really quite loaded with good stuff, you really kind of have to like encourage it to fold underneath. But by the time you hit some of the later coil folds, it's not quite as difficult to do. So I'm going to give this probably 3 or 4 of these, but once I'm done with the last one, we'll check in with them and see what they look like. Okay, so I wound up doing 3 coil folds, 30 minutes apart, and then I've given it actually close to an hour and a half afterwards. Taking a look at this, it's reasonably jiggly, but again, there's so much stuff inside the actual bread that can help, or kind of partially prevent it from demonstrating how inflated it is. So I'm just going to give it a whirl here now and see what it's like. I'll pop these out. I'm going to do both of them actually at the same time here. Oh yeah. Alright, so I'm just going to pop that up. Just do a quick little pre-shape, kind of tuck those chips into it. I don't want to mess around with it too much. Just giving it a little bit of tautness there. This other one here too. And then I will cover them up, let them rest for about 10 minutes, just a really quick bench rest, and then we will final shape. All right, so time just for a really quick final shaping. They didn't actually change too much during that 10 minutes, which is just fine by me. But again, all of this chocolate and the strawberries and stuff in there will kind of help it hold its shape, which is sweet. So just give these a little quick dusting with some rice flour here, and pop them into these vanitons for overnight, and in the morning we will bake. All right, so morning of, the oven has been preheating at 500 degrees for over an hour now. So it is time to get these baking. Just throw a little bit more rice flour on here. See how pattern works here. Sometimes it can be kind of tricky because all the good fun stuff that we've got going on here, the chocolate chips and what have you, can get in the way of the blade. However, this seems to be working out okay. All right, cool. So I'll toss this one in. Quickly do the second. Oh yeah, that's looking okay for flour. Just playing around here. And we'll bake these, I'll turn it down to 440. I'll give it half an hour, and then we will pop the lids off of the combo cookers. Okay, so after 30 minutes, I'm popping these out. I'm just going to pull these out here and get them right onto the rack, and hopefully that will prevent some excess burning on the bottom just for any chocolate that's sitting in there. Awesome. So we'll go to 430 and give it probably 25 minutes, somewhere in there. All right, so I lied. I actually pulled these after 20 minutes here, just because they were looking like they are done, and I don't want to risk them burning. Fantastic. This smells amazing. So I'm just going to let these cool down, and then we can slice on in. All right, so these have had a nice chance to cool down. It is time to slice into them and see exactly how they turned out. I can't even tell from the outside which is which, so we're just cutting into this one, which is slightly smaller. All right, so this is obviously the dark chocolate one. The milk chocolate. Very nice, looks beautiful. Look at all those strawberries and stuff in there. Fantastic. I want to slice into the, this must be the white chocolate then. And look at that. Super fun. Awesome. I was going to do a taste test and just piss you guys off and making you watch me do that, but I've got a whole horde of children here that are super excited to rip into this, and let's be honest, neither of these is going to suck. They're both going to be beautiful. It's really just a matter of whether or not you prefer the milk chocolate or the white chocolate. So yeah, super fun, awesome. I can't wait to dig into this, and yeah, till next time, keep her at 11.